Tom, when I say Don Nelson, what crosses your mind?
A million different things, Matt. I mean, innovator, friend for life, point forward, baseline drive, baseline drift. Just all of those things that came into the game. And Nelly was very much a family man. He wanted the staff to be like a family. Back in the day, especially in the TMC era, it definitely was. And with the coaching staff, the administrative staff, all of us, Mark Grabo and me and Eric Hausen and everyone else, it really was family oriented. And those are the special days.
Oh, Tom, it's awesome, especially those stories and just to hear your voice. And, we were all taken aback when we got the news. And I didn't have the pleasure to meet Nelly, but I'm hearing all the stories from my partner and all the people that he touched like yourself. I guess my question would be, Tom, not to put you on the spot, if you had one more chance to sit down with Nelson, what would you tell him?
It would be a great conversation. Nelly, every once in a while, I would text Nelly along the way, and I wasn't sure which number worked. He had an 808 number. He had a 214 number. So I'd text them both. And it was like I was watching a playoff game and say, can you believe they're playing Rudy Gobert at the 3? I mean, you keep your bigs down and your smalls out, right? And he just got back. Yeah, absolutely. So, although on many, many, many occasions between he and Gary St. Jean, they told me that I would never make a good NBA general manager. So we had some fun with that. Other things that we did. Nelly was really trying to keep his weight managed and exercise. So we would go on long walks after shoot-arounds or after practices and things like that. For example, when we were in Houston, we would stay at the Stouffer's Hotel, and that's down in the River Oaks area of Houston. So it's big, beautiful mansions. So we would walk all the way through there and say, oh, yeah, this house costs, X hundreds of thousands of dollars here. It costs like X millions of dollars by us. And it was things like that. And there was just some special times. I remember there were a couple of times it was just him and I that would go for the walk. We walked through Central Park one time. We walked from UCLA back to the hotel that we stayed at in L.A. It was just him and me, and talking about life, talking about basketball, talking about family, whatever. It was great.
Tom Abdenour joining us on 95.7 The Game, former athletic trainer for the Golden State Warriors, and worked under Don Nelson and with Don Nelson. Let me ask you about the We Believe year, because what I remember about the year was Barron was on the team, but he wasn't quite healthy. Then they pulled off the trade for Jackson and Harrington, and it kind of turned around. But I know that something happened late in that season in Detroit when something happened, and that thing turned around. Without sharing too much, go ahead. It wasn't,
Matt. It wasn't so much in Detroit. It was the night before in Washington.
Okay.
When we were playing the Wizards in D.C. and lost an overtime game on a controversial call that sent the game to overtime. That's a bad call. And we ended up losing that game. And that kind of was the impetus to turn things around. So we get to Detroit, which is my hometown, always special to go back there. And I believe we won. And that kind of kicked in where it was a fan in social media that said, we believe.
Yep.
And that launched it. And then one thing led to another. And then it became that belief that we could win. I remember in the TMC era where we won 8 straight home games, and that was like a miracle. But it was a great feeling going to the arena knowing that we were going to win. And we kind of had that same sense going down the stretch with We Believe. And then beating the Mavs down there when Nelly went small at the start of the game, Jason Richardson being absolutely incredible, and the rest is history.
Wow. Tom, let me ask you this, because, I just think Nelson's a genius, right? And we see the euphoria of being the first team to knock off a 1 seed at 8, and We Believe. But that next series was Utah, and to the fans, and I'm sure the players and Nelly, was disappointing. But how did a guy like Nelly take the losses, if you kind of catch my drift.
Sure. You know what? The Utah series paralleled others along the way because we never got, in the whole 23 and a half years I was with the Warriors, we never got past Game 5, Round 2. That was it. And I think Nelly had been around the block enough to know that not so much that we were playing on house money to get to that point, but at some point in time, talent is going to take over, and we didn't have a lot of depth, relatively speaking, and we gave it our best shot. And obviously, BD had that incredible dunk over Karolinko.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, that was in and of itself pretty special.
Yeah.
Just like Mully had the incredible game at the Forum against the Lakers in Game 2 of that series.
Right.
And then we brought back, I don't know if you guys remember it, but when we came back for Game 3 of that series, the team was introduced by Run DMC.
I don't remember that.
I got to find that.
You got to Google it.
All right.
Warriors introduced by Run DMC in the playoffs. It's the wildest, craziest thing you'll ever see. It was great, except for the 12 guys at the other end of the floor. That game was over in about 5 minutes.
Oh man, I tell you, Tom Abdenour, longtime athletic trainer for the Warriors, joining us. Oh
Thanks,
man, I think real quick the Utah series. They had a shot at it, man. Steven Jackson had a 3 that could have won Game 1, and then Game 2 they just let it slip away. A backcourt violation. Petrus missing free throw. Barron missed a couple. Oh man.
If I recall, now you guys got to help me on this one. But Derek Fisher was playing for the Jazz at that time, right?
Yes, sir.
And you know what? Here's a guy who was with us and now is opposed to us. And he made a couple big plays.
Yes, he did.
in those games. Yeah.
That's right.
There's one thing I'd like to talk about, Nelly, in a kind of a comparative to a contemporary time right now. Load management. All right?
Yep.
There was a series of 3 games on the road that we played. It was like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to say, on the road, so we had to travel. Spree played 45 minutes. His next game was overtime. He played 53, and then he played 48 the next day.
Wow.
Mully played 48, 53, 48.
That's
all right?
Incredible.
For Nelly, load management was this. Minute, if you hit the 3, we go home.
That's
so
great.
That was it.
That's it.
You know, Nelly knew. Nelly also knew he did not like to give people 2 days off in a row because he knew what they weren't going to do. They weren't going to go to a gym and get on a bike or a treadmill, you know, and he knew what life was like in the NBA.
Right.
Nothing surprised him.
Right.
So from that standpoint, he knew how hard to push and when to pull back.
Yep.
And that was great. I mean, especially going down at the end of the season, down late in the year, you know, it would basically just be what he'd call smell the gym. Just go in, get some shots up, kind of work on a few things, a few technical things. And the guys who aren't playing a whole lot, you guys are at the other end playing 3-on-3 for a half hour, 40 minutes to stay in shape. But otherwise, the starters and the big minute guys, we're not going to kill their legs.
Right. Tom, thank you so much,
stuff,
man. Really, really appreciate you coming on. And you knew Don Nelson as well as anybody.
Man.
So thank you so much, Tom. And
Matt, thank you guys for the opportunity. Like I said, Nelly, God rest in peace. And, you know, we'll all go have a cold one for him at some point in time.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
I'm going to
Thank you
Google
so
the
much.
Run DMC too stuff.
You will not believe it.
All right.
And if there's anybody within the sound of my voice that was at that game, call in and tell you about it.
Tom Abdenour.
All right. See you guys later.
On
Thanks so much.
95.7 Game.